This is Ron Mickens, live from Lakeland, Florida. You know the topic, fraud upon the court. We're talking about corruption, serious crimes, criminal acts that you've never seen before. I certainly hadn't. Oh, this has to be one of the crimes of the century. I know I'm going to sound a little repetitive, but I want you to hang in there with me. Hang in there with me. You got to get this piece of the puzzle. But if you don't, there's a couple of more pieces. But you got to hang in there with me today. Okay? Remember, the truth is in the details. So let's get started. Judge Moore, fraudulent misrepresentation that Ron and Gloria Mickens essentially desired and sought rescission. This is fraud upon the court. This is a lie. This is a lie. I hope that you see that by now, but you will. Okay? She's using this fraudulent misrepresentation to overturn, reverse, abort, abandon, set aside, vacate, dismiss, omit Judge Strickland's adjudicated findings on the merits of Ron and Gloria Mickens' fraud, cancellation of deed, quiet title, ejectment, and breach of construction contract action. This is unlawful. This is a criminal act. Let me put it in simple terms for you. She is saying that Ron and Gloria Mickens want to give up 20 claims in exchange for one claim where she's going to order us to pay the Damrons for the cost of materials and labor. This is a criminal act. Think about it. You be the judge. 20 claims. We even got more claims because we're going to include some claims against the state attorney, sheriff, and property appraiser for conspiring to cover up the Damrons and Stewart Title Guaranty Company's fraud. Okay. Remember, too, now, you got to stay with me. I know you heard me say these things before. Judge Moore, is using rescission to convert the criminals into being considered as the victims, and the victims into being considered as the criminals. The liars into being considered as the ones who's telling the truth, and the people who's telling the truth and to be considered as being telling the lies. The winners being converted are considered as being the losers, and the losers being converted are considered as being the winners. You see what they're doing? They're turning the guilty into being converted are considered as being the winners. And the winners are being converted into being the guilty. This is fraud upon the court. This is a war against the Constitution. This is treason against the Constitution. This is a violation of her constitutional oath, and all the other judges that have adopted and joined in this conspiracy, i.e. the Second District Court of Appeal, Federal District Court Judge, and the 11th Circuit Court judges. Now, I'm going to prove to you how they done this. Let's start off. Jerry Hill, remember him, the state attorney. They're conspiring. Judge Goldstein, the judge who creates these fraudulent judgments. And you got the Federal District Court Judge Lazaro, and you got the 11th Circuit Court. They false today, to this present. They are fraudulently misrepresenting that Ron and Gloria Mickens transferred our property to Damron Construction Company. They're saying that we temporarily transferred our property and Damron was going to return it back to us at final closing. Remember that word, temporarily. There's no such thing as a temporarily transfer by a quick claim deed. That's a lie. We didn't transfer our property to no Damron Construction Company. You see the misrepresentation? And please keep in mind, Judge Strickland didn't rule that way. Judge Strickland and Judge Moore said that this man misrepresented the nature of a deed, committed fraud inducement, fraudulently maintained and obtained a claim to fee simple title to our property. You see the contradiction in what the state attorney, Judge Goldstein, and the Federal District Court and the 11th Circuit, it's contradicting. They're contradicting the trial judge. Okay, let's entertain another lie. They said that Ms. Canady, Ms. Rewis, Ms. Highsmith, let me slow it down a little bit. Stewart Title of Polk, Stewart Title Guaranty Company was responsible for making a deed and responsible for the closing. You hear what I'm saying to you? What are they talking about? We're the owners of that property. We don't know anything about no Miss Canady, Miss Rewis, Ms. Highsmith, Stewart Title of Polk, Stewart Title Guaranty Company, Chase Bank. We have no clue that these people even exist on the face of the earth. But they are involved in a so-called transfer to our property to Damron Construction Company. Where's the rest of the paperwork that Jerry Hill, them is hiding? We don't have, he didn't give us any of these documentation where our property was purportedly transferred. It's a lie. How could they? This is the 11th Circuit and the Federal District Court have adopted these lies. Their orders are over here. I have their orders. And let me give you another example of their lies. This is the Federal District Court judge and the 11th Circuit adopting Judge Goldstein and the state attorney's lies. They're saying that our property was foreclosed by Stewart Title Guaranty Company. They gave Stewart Title of Polk, Canady, and Rewis judgments against Ron and Gloria Mickens. Listen, they don't have no standing to sue Ron and Gloria. They don't have a right of action. Let me slow it down a little bit. I know I might be using some of this legal terminology. They don't have a cause of action against Ron and Gloria Mickens. The foreclosure is a fake. I've explained to you. I'm repeating this so you understand the lies and the misrepresentation that they have adopted. And they adopted these lies in direct contradiction of the trial judge with full knowledge that they are lies. This is outrageous. It's shocking. It's intentional. It's malicious. It's willful. You see why Judge Moore misrepresentation is such a serious of a crime? She's replacing the findings of the trial judge unlawfully, fraudulently. These are criminal violations. And you got to understand that these fraudulent judgments that Judge Constein created, fabricated, just fraudulently, based on Judge Moore, fraudulent misrepresentation that we desired rescission and sought rescission. Judge Constein, just not only Judge Constein, but you got the federal district court judge and you got the 11th Circuit with orders and judgments out here in the public, ready for first responders to lock us up or kill us if we try to exercise our constitutional and civil rights when it comes to our life, liberty, and property interests in everything. Now, I know you don't like me using some of these terms, but this is the judicial system. These are the judges. They have got caught in these lies. This is serious. They are using a remedy like rescission in an unlawful way to deprive you and I of all of our constitutional rights and civil rights. They're violating criminal statute 18 U.S.C. section 241, section 242, that's 18 U.S.C. These are criminal violations. All kind of violations when it comes to RICO and RICO racketeering. Okay. And you got to remember, it's fun. They were bought. They were all bought. You call it the blood money. I just need you to make sure that you understand. This is why I'm repeating it. Judge Moore, all of her facts and findings and conclusions of law, although they were unsolicited, they were all in our favor. They were all overwhelmingly in our favor. She found the Damrons them guilty of fraud, but she made this gigantic. Oh, I've never seen a misrepresentation like this before in my life. The only way that they could create these fraudulent judgments, they had to say that we desired it. This is what we wanted. We wanted them to commit these criminal acts against us. I hope you see the connection. We desired all of these frivolous judgments and orders against us. There was no trial. Don't be duped. They ain't conducting no trial. When Judge Moore made this frivolous misrepresentation, that authorized a license Judge Constein to create and fabricate any and everything that he could come up with. Because she's saying that this is what Ron and Gloria Mickens desired. This is what they wanted. Oh, she became our lawyer. She know better what we want than we do. In spite of the fact that we had filed 3 lawsuits, one, showing what we desire and what we sought. You got to see the lie. You got to know that replacing 20 or more claims for an equitable claim, selecting this equitable claim and imposing it on the prevailing body to create fraudulent orders, fraudulent issues, facts, claims, orders, and judgment that deprived us of everything. Now that's what I mean when I say they're turning the criminals into being the victims, and the victims into being the criminals. It's unbelievable. So you got to hang in there. I want you to know. I want you to be the judge. How they use these misrepresentations. Judge Constein, Federal District Court Judge Lazaro, 11th Circuit, and Jerry Hill, unequivocally today, it's been called with these lies. All of these fraudulent judgment is predicated on their fraud, their misrepresentation. Their misrepresentation. Telling Ron and Gloria Mickens, talking about what Miss Canady said. We don't have a relationship. Never had a relationship with Miss Canady. We never been to Stewart Title. Stewart Title has absolutely no right, period, when it comes to our property. They were all conspiring together to steal money from the bank, Chase Bank, and Ron and Gloria Mickens. The company and the Damron and Stewart Title Guaranty Company, Stewart Title of Polk, Canady, Rewis, and Harman-Highsmith. They were constructing houses under false pretenses. I'm going to read this for you again, because what I'm telling you, they just set aside Judge Strickland's finding. Judge Strickland, and I'm going to read his entire order when it came to the breach of contract action. Judge Strickland determined that Damron Construction Company breached the construction contract by failing to perform work of good quality free from faults and defects, failing to submit change orders in writing as required by the contract, failing to have change orders approved by the Mickens as required by the contract. Number 4, failing to close the loan commitment with the Mickens Bank, Nation Bank, and thereby depriving the Mickens of a VA-protected construction loan. And 5, failing to pay all subcontractors as required by the contract. But let's go back to number 4. Damron had entered a construction mortgage loan with Chase. This is what he and Stewart Title Guaranty Company conspired and did to give him a construction mortgage loan. He was required to build his house pursuant to Chase Bank plans and specifications. So he just breached our contract. He just pitched it out of the window. We had no control over anything. He probably changed the contract from 50 to 100 times. You understand? This man done set himself up as if he's the veteran. I don't know whether he ever served or not. But I was supposed to be having me a VA protected construction home through Nation Bank. That's the only bank that we dealt with. So I hope you get it, because they did all of this to deprive us of the money. Oh, you got to hang in there with me, because we got 2 more pieces. We got at least 2 more pieces. And I know you're going to get it if this doesn't make any sense. Or we coming back. So hang in there with me. Hang in there with me, because they all got to be held accountable. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's hard. It's hard for me to believe today. Oh, those fabricated fraudulent orders is the worst mentally crimes, and they're by judges. I can't even fathom them. But we have to face reality. So hang in there with me. I'll see you the next time. Talk to you later. Bye.